Hermes Agent became a different tool this week because GPT-5.6 slots straight in. And the setup side of that, almost nobody is covering it. Which matters because you are handing a frontier model computer use, file access, and browser control inside an open source agent. Get the configuration wrong and this thing will fight you on every task you give it. So let's set it up properly. Step by step, 5 sections coming. Why this combo matters for open source users. The plug-in walkthrough, the reasoning level, which most people said wrong on day one and never look at again. Picking a model tier without wasting money. And then the security setup, which I'd argue is the strongest reason to watch this one all the way through. Hermes sits inside my own production stack, running unattended work every single day. So everything in this video comes off a live setup, not a sandbox. Let's get into it.
Hey, I'm Johnny Nell. I spent years building businesses the old hard way, managing teams, scaling operations, and doing everything manually. Today, everything I built, from automations and no-code infrastructures to fully AI SaaS products, has AI helping in one way or another. Firstly, let me quickly show you this. In South Africa, we call this a braai. I build with AI tools that, in my opinion, anyone can learn to use. My mission is simple: to help creators, entrepreneurs, and business owners get clarity with AI. Let's build smarter together and enjoy this video.
The one stick drummer. So before we install anything, let's talk about what you're upgrading from. If Hermes is running on a local model or an older API for you right now, the agent still works. It just works like a drummer playing with one stick. The parts land, sort of, but the reasoning stays shallow, the tool calls get clunky, and the moment a task needs 4 or 5 steps in a row, it stumbles. And look, maybe yours feels fine. Mine felt fine too for a while, and back when the gap between local models and frontier models was small, fine was a fair place to stand. It isn't small now. The moment I started asking for real agentic behavior, planning, multi-step execution, genuine computer use, the older model turned into the bottleneck. That gap costs you time, whether you feel it or not, because every fumble task is one you end up redoing by hand. Follow the money. Because the economics of this combo are the part that surprised me. Running a frontier model on a consumer subscription inside an open source agent is not a first. Codex sign-in with a ChatGPT plan has been doing exactly this since mid-2025. The OpenClaw community was running entire agents of Claude subscriptions until Anthropic stepped in earlier this year. And Hermes itself already supported GPT 5.5 through the same route. What's new is the model on the other end of it. This is the strongest one to slot in so far. The practical difference is simple. Instead of metering every API call and watching the bill stack up like a car payment, you're on a subscription. According to OpenAI's published pricing, GPT 5.6 sits at around $2.50 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens on the mid-Terra tier, and the flagship Sol runs 5 in and 30 out. And for heavy agentic use, that adds up fast. Alex Finn, one of the biggest Hermes creators on YouTube, said on record in his video that before switching, he was spending about $200 a day on the Claude Opus API just to keep Hermes running. That's his number from his own video. $200 a day. With the subscription route through Hermes, that cost structure changes completely. Money is only half of it though. GPT 5.6 brings native computer use, so the agent can work your desktop, your browser, and your file system without hacky workarounds, because the model itself supports it. And on multi-step agentic tasks, the reliability jump over the older models is something you notice inside the first hour of running it. Plugging it in. Open a terminal with me. This whole thing takes about 2 minutes. Type Hermes model and hit enter. That pops up the provider picker, and this is where GPT 5.6 lives. Choose OpenAI Codex, and it walks you through a quick ChatGPT login. You open the link, punch in the code, and your subscription is connected. No API key anywhere in the process. From there, you pick your GPT 5.6 model off the live list. 3 tiers, Sol, Terra, and Luna, and I'll help you choose between them in a minute, because your plan unlocks all 3. Save it, run a test prompt, and watch what comes back. The model is actually thinking through the task, planning its steps, executing in sequence rather than firing off a best guess. Dude, it's really good. And you just did the whole install in the time it takes to make coffee. Dial down the thinking. Now for the setting most people never touch, the reasoning level. The instinct is to crank it to X high, because why wouldn't you want the smartest version of the model, right? For chat, sure. For agents, that instinct backfires. X high burns through your rate limits faster, takes longer on every response, and degrades instruction following because the model starts overthinking simple tasks. It's like booking a session drummer and asking for a solo on every bar when the job is keeping time. Medium is the sweet spot for most agent work. You set it from Telegram with the /reasoning command, /reasoning medium, and on straightforward tasks, you drop it to low. I've been running that exact configuration in my production setup for the last few weeks. And the difference showed up the same day. Faster responses, tighter instruction adherence, rate limits that last. Save X high for the rare complex task that has earned it. Quick aside before the tiers, everything in this video exists as ready-made files in the GPT-5.6. Hermes setup kit, the config checklist, the reasoning level cheat sheet, the plan tier decision card, and the permission scope template. So you can build this without pausing and rewinding me 20 times. It sits inside the AI Founders vault next to the wider library. Agent files, frameworks, security architectures, etc. The link is down in the description below. Tiers. Picking your tier. OpenAI ships GPT 5.6 in 3 sizes. Sol is the flagship, Terra is the balanced everyday model, and Luna is the fastest and cheapest of the 3. All 3 run the same 1 million token context window. So the real difference comes down to capability, speed, and cost. And the detail that gets missed is that the tiers are not locked to plans. Even on the $20 plus plan, you can be running Sol. The difference is how fast you hit your rate limits. For most builders, running a personal agent or small team setup, Sol on the plus plan is enough. And if the limits start biting, step down to Terra or Luna. Then there's the mixture of agents feature. And most write-ups get this one backwards. It is not a cost saver. It runs advisor models in parallel on your task, and your main model reads their analysis before writing the final answer. More calls per turn, not fewer. Which is exactly why you reserve it for work that deserves it. The planning steps, the long reasoning chains. Simple lookups, formatting jobs, basic data processing, keep those on a cheaper standalone model so your premium rate limits go where they matter. So the working setup main model on GPT 5.6 at your tier, flip to the mixture of agents preset with the model command when heavy work comes up. Cheap standalone model for everything else. Frontier performance where it counts, efficiency everywhere else. This is the section I'd make you watch if I could only keep one. GPT 5.6 now has computer use inside an agent that touches your files, your browser, and your machine. That is an enormous amount of capability, and capability without constraints is a risk you're choosing to accept, whether you meant to choose it or not. Give an agent broad permissions plus unconstrained tool access, and it will improvise around obstacles in ways you did not anticipate. And improvisation, when it goes sideways, is how you end up with a deleted directory, because the agent decided deletion was the shortest path to finishing the task. The fix has 3 parts. Scope your permissions first. No blanket file system access. Define which directories it can read, which it can write to, and which are off limits. Then turn on approval mode. So the agent asks before any destructive action, file deletions, system commands, browser authentication. That adds a few seconds of friction and removes hours of potential cleanup. And the step people skip, audit what it did. After every session, read the action log. Which tools it called, which files it touched, which commands it ran. You should know what happened in there. Not roughly. Exactly. Let me walk you through the flow in Hermes. Open the dashboard and come down to config. The approval controls live here, so you switch on approvals for destructive actions. Scope your file access with the config keys and pull your audit trail from the logs. When the agent hits a restricted action, it pauses. shows you what it wants to do, and waits for your call. That pause is the difference between an agent you control and an agent that controls you. None of this is paranoia, by the way. It's just what running unattended software on your own machine asks of you. With GPT 5.6 driving, there's a move that makes the whole stack yours. Have the model scan your own hardware, your GPU, your RAM, your available compute. Then point it at Hugging Face and let it recommend the best local model your machine can hold. Wire that in as a local fallback worker inside Hermes. Now, when the subscription hits a rate limit, or OpenAI has an outage, or you want a private run that never leaves the room, the work doesn't stop. Your stack keeps going on your own iron. I ran this myself. One prompt telling GPT 5.6 to evaluate my hardware specs and recommend a local model. It came back with a pick. I pulled the model and configured it as the fallback. The meter can slow me down now, but it can't stop me. And if you're building toward independence, running on your own hardware when it counts is the entire reason you chose an open source agent over a hosted one. That's the complete GPT 5.6 and Hermes Agent setup. The economics, the plugin, the reasoning level, the tiers, the security layer, and the local fallback. No vendor lock-in, just tools you control end to end. The subscription route rewrites the economics of running a frontier model inside an open source agent. Medium reasoning beats X high for agent tasks. And security is not a bolt-on, it's the foundation everything else sits on. I can't say too much as of yet, but the next video goes deeper into something I've been testing on this exact setup, and I think you're going to find it very interesting. Drop your answer in the comments. What drives your stack choice? Cost, privacy, or control? I'll be reading through them and replying. If you feel called to it, subscribe to follow the journey, because there's a lot more operator-grade open source setups coming. And if you want this whole video as ready-made files, the config checklist, the reasoning level cheat sheet, the plan tier decision card, and the permission scope template, the GPT 5.6 Hermes setup kit is waiting inside the AI Founders Vault. The link is down in the description below. See you in the next one.